So the McKenzie Stadium is the most advanced. The stands are going to be completed shortly, within the next maybe 2 months or so. So all of the stands will be completed, I would say, within the next 2 months or so. The bucket seats will be installed. All of them, by the way, are going to have bucket seats, all. And even better than you have at the National Stadium. Those ones are going to be installed by about May, is when I expect them to come into the country and to be installed. The installation process is not a long time. Where you might have a little bit of delay is really on the shipment, but all of those projects have already been awarded. So right now, today, I'm viewing one of the samples. For one of the stands, I've already seen the sample for another one of the stands. So we're already gone past the heavy lifting. So now we're going into just straight execution of the project, which is installation. By then, by about May or so, it might even be sooner, but let's say about May, give and take what happens with the shipment. And hopefully nobody takes over the Panama Canal. Hopefully that doesn't happen before we get it through there, or else they have to come the other way. But other than that, we expect that to be completed by about May, June of this year. So that facility is going to be open. The fence is awarded, the parking lot is awarded, the site screen is awarded. So everything else is moving towards completion. So I'm going to take you now to Anar Regina. All of the ancillary works there is awarded. We had to terminate one of the contracts, which was the Players Pavilion, just because of delay, but we've already awarded the new contract. So they are going to be moving from that stage to complete that one section of the stadium. So the bucket seats for those ones are also already awarded. We have 2 stands that are moving towards completion now. So in about 2 months or so, 3 months, I'm expecting to have those projects handed over to us so that the bucket seats can be installed. There are some ancillary works that's also awarded, some concreting works, some revetment works, so a canal that has to be built. All of that is already completed on the procurement side. So, and some of it has already started. Those projects are very short projects, 3 months, 4 months kind of period. So by about similar timeline, by about the middle of the year, we expect that Anar Regina should be ready to be opened and ready for play. In fact, it's ready for play now, but we don't want people on it too soon because there's still some construction work going on. Bayroc, which is a synthetic track. As you know, we completed the installation of the synthetic track last year. So what has to be done is to get the football field in very good condition. We're going out to tender for that now too. The stand is going to be completed. Both stands are going to be completed in the next maybe about. So let me take each one in turn. So there's a spectator stand that's being built right now. That should be completed in the next maybe 2 months or so. The installation of the bucket seats, similar timeline. By about May, I expect that to be completed. So that stand is going to be ready. We're currently doing the parking lot. That should be finished in another maybe month or so. There's a fence that has to be started there. We've already done the procurement. That's maybe about a 3-month project or so. So let's say about April, May, we should be able to complete that fence. And then the Players Pavilion, we had to terminate that project, so we went towards the completion. We're moving towards the completion. We already went out to tender. So we should be awarding that anytime over the next couple of weeks. But there are 2 sections. The front section, which is the part that everyone can use, spectators. That also has bucket seats. Everyone, that should be finished in a very short space of time, within the next 3 months, 4 months or so. We're going to be adding in halls, but that wouldn't affect the use of the facility and the opening of the facility. So by about the middle of the year, we expect that facility to be ready as well. Now let's take you over to New Amsterdam. So we're completing the stand now. The hall part that I spoke about, that we're going on to tender now, or we completed the tendering process, but we haven't awarded any contracts on that as yet. So that won't affect the opening of the facility. What has to be done is the fencing. We've already awarded that contract. We've handed over the site to the contractor. We've already identified the boundaries, etc. We are going to be adding in a new stand, but that's a stand that just like we did for the squash court, we're going to be just purchasing the stand and installing it. So it's not a construction work that has to happen there, because the other side has the covered stand. And the field has to be done. As far as the installation of the track is concerned, we were hoping to get that completed last year. We had the asphalting completed. The consultant who came from BSW, he was on a very tight timeline, so he couldn't stay to complete that process so that we can get the installation of the synthetic track. So he's returning in this month, in January. We expect him to be here. The good news about that synthetic operation is that it's a very short completion process. So they finish in days, and then there's a 14-day curing period, and then the installation of the track, that happens in 30 days. So I would say within about, once we can get them scheduled, within the first quarter of the year would be a sensible prediction. But I don't like to make these commitments on overseas persons because you have less control based on their schedule. Having said that, I'm committed to seeing this through. That's the only thing that really is unpredictable as far as the completion is concerned. Palmyra, there were some shipping delays coming out from India because there was some routes that were being held up and they had some problem with their ports. That's causing some delays in getting the steel into the country. Some of the steel has already been delivered. We are pushing for the completion of Palmyra to happen this year, and it is quite possible that we will see that. I'm unable to say that I can commit to that. There's a lot of moving parts and a lot of overseas components, but we are committed to seeing that, or we are pushing the contractor to complete the Palmyra project this year too.